Hi, my name is MK. I'm the founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms or FHMoms. What we do is we help Filipino mothers inside and outside the Philippines to get an online job, and now we are expanding to helping more Filipino mothers without access to the internet by giving them home-based livelihood opportunities.
Before kasi kami na nag-home-based job, parang living paycheck to paycheck kami. Sahod niya, oy, hati na agad yan yung matitira. Or nung nag-home-based na kami, doon nakapag-ipon na kami. Nakapag-church wedding kami. Tapos nagkaroon na kami ng savings. Nagkaroon na rin kami ng investments, tsaka insurance. Nakapag-bili na rin kami ng house.
Dito kasi sa pag nagtrabaho kami sa bahay, mas maraming time na sa kids, sa kanya. Kaya, ayun. Hanggang ngayon, masaya pa rin naman ako sa pag-online yun.
Since sobrang hirap, importante ko na talaga yung talim ng job, na-experience ko na rin yung discrimination sa work. Until October 2018, I was invited to be an inspirational speaker, and you were one of them. So yun, na-meet kita. And then doon ako na-trigger mami. Doon na talaga yun. Doon na ako pinasok talaga yung mundo ng pag-work. You gave me hope. I really remember yung experience ko sa isang company na discriminate ko. I got projects, I got freelance job, maging ambassador sa isang company. So those are some things na natutunan ko sa office.
Nag-join ako ng FHMoms last 2017 and that was the first year na nag-transition ako from corporate to working from home. So, nakita ko to sa Facebook as a mommy community for, like freelancers. So, that's why I joined. For me, FHMoms is really like a blessing. The group or this community made me realize my calling as a teacher. It's an honor to be part of this group, to impart what I know, and help other mothers out there as part of the goal of FHMoms. So, go for it.
In my job, there are many tasks. There are so many things that needs to be done in front of the computer. There's a lot of forms, paperwork, and also a lot of research. At the same time, being an event planner, I'm always on the go. And as a new company, it's also challenging whether should I hire an employee, like a regular employee, or should I just get somebody that's on call. Now, this is where FHMoms came in, like God sent. So when I hired one of the wonderful FHMom members with the name of Katie, I was able to communicate to her what I envisioned my business to be, and she helped me to create a very positive branding of my business. So I would say having FHMoms as a support system for my business has been the best decision that I have ever made.
All right. So, good evening again, everyone. So, welcome to the second part of our English grammar webinar series. So, this is already the second part since we had our first one last Monday, and the last one is going to be this Friday. Still at the same time, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. All right. So, before I start with our discussion tonight, so again, if you have any questions that you need answers, or there are topics that you want us to discuss, or there are any clarifications, okay, that you really want to air out, so leave them in the comment section. And for lengthy topics, then maybe we can discuss that on our last part of this grammar series, which is on Friday. All right. So as I promised, last Monday. So for today, we will still be talking about the problem areas, right? The common errors or mistakes that a lot of Filipinos, okay, not just ESL teachers, okay, or teachers in general, but even ordinary Filipinos, when we make our sentences or we when we make our social media posts, sometimes we can't help but make these mistakes, maybe unconsciously, or maybe we are really confused on what words do we really need to use in them. All right, so let's start our tonight's session. So, for tonight, we shall be talking about commonly confused and misused words. Okay, so what I'll be discussing are the things that I often find among Facebook posts of Filipinos, my friends, or common friends, right? Even family members. So, I think not just them, but a lot of us are confused on which one should be the correct word or the correct term to be used. All right. And as I think a viewer last Monday also left a comment that she wanted us to talk about prepositions. So in the later part of our discussion tonight, I will also be touching briefly on the topic of prepositions. All right. So let's start with this is a very common error, okay, among Filipinos, so sad to say, okay? So it's with an apostrophe. So let's start with the first one, it's, right? So it's is the possessive form of the pronoun it. Right. So possessive form. So when we say possessive, let's make it simple. First, so possessive, it means or it shows ownership, right? Pag-aari mo. So, ginagamit natin siya to show na you own something or pag-aari mo ang isang bagay. Okay? Let's take some examples for us to understand it further. We have a pet dog. Its color is brown. Okay. So, it's here. I use it's without an apostrophe because what I'm trying to say is yung color ng dog. Okay? The color of the dog. But I don't have to repeat, okay? The color of the dog, it's gonna be too long of a sentence. So I can just make it simple. I can just say, its color is brown. Okay? So it's lang siya. Wala siyang apostrophe. Right? He bought a used car. Its price was surprisingly high. So here, it's again is used in the sentence without an apostrophe. So it's actually refers to the used car. Okay? So kung gagawin nating mas mahaba yung sentence, then it's going to be the price of the used car was surprisingly high. So mahaba siya, 'di ba? So we have to use a pronoun so we don't or we avoid repeating the same words in our sentences. So in this case, we use it's to show a possessive form or to show ownership, ang price ng used car. Alright? And the last one, they saw an old house with its broken windows about to fall. So again, in my sentence, I use it's. Wala siyang apostrophe kasi I'm talking about the old house. Okay? So, the broken windows of the old house, but I don't want to repeat the old house anymore. So, I just say it's. Alright? So, kaninong broken windows? Sa old house. So, it shows ownership, pag-aari, or possessive form. Okay? So that's clear, right? While on the other hand, if you find an apostrophe with it, okay, so what does it mean? So it actually means, or it is the shortened form of it is, or it was, or it has. Okay? So, hindi lang siya automatic na it is yan. No. Because sometimes it can also mean it was or it has in your sentence. Okay? So, ito, again, yung it's lang na walang apostrophe, pronoun siya na nagpapakita ng ownership, okay, or possession. While it's with an apostrophe, yung apostrophe S dito, verb yan siya. It could either be is, was, or has. Let's take some example sentences para mas maintindihan natin. First one, it's such a beautiful day. So dito, in my sentence, I have to use apostrophe S kasi it means it is such a beautiful day. Yung apostrophe S dito ay ang verb natin sa sentence. So it is. Alright? Now look at the second one. I didn't like the movie. It's so predictable. So, ang ating apostrophe S again is our verb in the sentence. This time, hindi na siya is, was na siya. Paano nyo malalaman na was na siya? Kasi you have to look at the other parts of the sentence or yung mga kasama nitong sentences na rin. So, in that sentence prior to that, we use the past tense. I didn't like, right? So that means yung apostrophe S dito is was. Alright? So past, didn't like. Therefore, you know, yung apostrophe S dito was yan, hindi yan is. So it's so predictable or it was so predictable. Alright? And the last one. My sister wants to be a doctor. It's always been her dream. Okay. So, dito na naman, it's. Bakit it's na naman yan? Kasi, if you try to understand it, yung sentence natin, there is been, right? Past participle siya. Kailangan niya ng helping verb before sa kanya. So, yung apostrophe S natin dito is actually has. Right? It has always been her dream. It has. Hindi siya it is. Alright? It has always been. So, paano mo naman nalalaman na, bakit has yan? Again, look at the other parts of the sentence. Like I mentioned earlier, because of been, right? So, tinutulungan niya tayo to understand, okay, kasi may been yan, dapat has, kasi present perfect yan. I don't want to go deeper into that because it's gonna take us some time to explain what has been, okay, have been, what kind of structure it is, when do we use it, okay? It's just for you to know, it's present perfect tense, right? And again, sa aming ESL and online teaching course dito sa FHMoms, you will get to know more about those different tenses in detail. Matutunan nyo lahat, hindi lang pala siya present, past, and future. Yung present pala is divided into 3. Ganun din sa past. Ganun din sa future. Marami palang pwedeng different expressions doon. So, if you're interested to know more about that, you want to develop really your grammar skills, then I strongly encourage you, take part in our training, and you will really see for yourself that there are actually a lot of things that you can learn, and surprisingly, you didn't realize na, ganun pala siya. Okay? Now, let's talk about the common errors na nakikita natin in our social media posts or even in messages or when you hear speeches. You can often find these errors. So, for example, the first one, it's a pleasure to meet you. So, okay lang yan pag sinasabi mo, it's a pleasure to meet you. Kasi hindi naman siya obvious, right? Na ano ba siya, may apostrophe or wala. But if you put it into writing, right? So magiging obvious that your sentence is actually Wrong. Hindi siya it's na possessive. It should have an apostrophe. It should be, it is a pleasure to meet you. So we need an apostrophe for that. All right? The second one, I don't like the design. It's too bright for me. So again, kung spoken English lang siya, okay, or when you say it in conversations, all right, it wouldn't really matter, okay? Kasi sa pandinig ng iba, okay, when they hear it, oh, it's just the same. But if you put it into writing, then they would really see the error in your sentence. So here, hindi siya it's, dapat may apostrophe s siya kasi it is. Yung apostrophe s serves as your verb. So it is too bright for me. All right? The third one, we stayed at a huge hotel. Its interior was marvelous. So dito naman, you know that this sentence is wrong kasi there's already a verb in the sentence. May was na siya. Okay? So hindi mo na kailangan ng apostrophe s dito. Automatically, you would know na possessive form ang kailangan mo. Its interior was marvelous. Kasi yung its interior refers to sa hotel. Okay? So meaning ang interior ng hotel or the interior of the hotel. But to shorten it, you just use its without an apostrophe. Right? And the last one, we stayed at a huge hotel. Its interior, okay, sorry, it's repeated, but it's the same, all right? So, it's, again, apostrophe S is wrong kasi nga meron na tayong verb na was sa ating sentence. This one, this is, again, another very confusing, okay, expression para sa karamihan sa atin kasi they also sound the same. They sound the same. Pero when you put them into writing, there is really a difference in meaning and in spelling na rin. So there, or there. Okay? So unahin natin, again, the possessive form. Okay? So there is the possessive form of the pronoun they. So, kung kanina, yung it is the possessive form of the pronoun it, nagpapakita ng ownership. Pag marami na sila, okay, plural, so they na yung ginagamit natin to show the possessive form or ownership or yung pagmamayari, then we use their in our sentence with an I. Okay? So, example, their car was stolen last night. So, their car, yung kotse nila. Okay? So, there, E-I-R, yan yung spelling. Kasi kanilang kotse. We are going to their hometown next vacation. So, their hometown. Kaninong hometown? Kanilang hometown. So, ownership. Pag-aari, hindi naman sila talaga yung may-ari, okay? But doon sila galing, doon sila nakatira. So, their hometown. So, we cannot use their, alright? Kasi we want to show ownership. Parents are always proud of their kids' achievements. True naman. So, their kids, yung kids nila. Alright? So, we need E-I-R in the spelling to show ownership. Alright? Pero yung there na T-H-E-R-E means something exists, meaning yung isang bagay nag-e-exist siya or makikita mo siya, nariyan siya, it exists, or it is the opposite of here. So here, yung opposite niya is there, right? At that place. Let's take example sentences. There are so many beautiful flowers here. There are. Dito, ginamit natin, T-H-E-R-E, there are, meaning many beautiful flowers exist in this place or here. Alright? There is a man looking for you at the door. So, may delivery ka, for example. So, we say, there is a man looking for you at the door. So, merong lalaki, okay, sa may pintuan, naghahanap sa iyo. So, there is a man. So, again, T-H-E-R-E is used for that. Next, I don't want to go there alone. There. So, not here, but there. So, sa that place. So, again, I use THERE. I'm talking about the opposite of here. And Amy was there with me during the accident. So, my accident, right? And Amy was there. Okay? So, sa time na yon na nagka-aksidente, nandun siya. So, again, there with a THERE. Right? So, review lang natin ng konti. So, if there is an I, THEIR, nagpapakita ng pagmamay-ari or ownership, possessive form. There, na THERE, nagpapakita that something exists, nariyan siya, okay? Or opposite siya ng here, so not here but there or at that place. Okay? Now, let's talk about there with an apostrophe this time. Okay? So, katulad ng it's kanina na may apostrophe S siya, yung there, meron din siyang apostrophe RE. So, this actually means or is the shortened form of they are or they were. Take note again of the pronunciation. We say were, all right? So, we pronounce it as were, not where, right? So, they were. So, again, paano mo malalaman kung ang apostrophe RE dito is are or where? Again, understand the sentence. Look at the other words, okay, or the context of the sentence para may idea ka. Okay, present yan. So, are. Past yan. So, were ang meaning yan. Alright? So, example sentences. They're moving to another city again. There. Okay, so dito kailangan natin ng apostrophe, RE, kasi they are moving. Kailangan natin ng helping verb na are because our verb has ing. Right? She doesn't like that they're always asking for help. So, they are always asking for help. So, paano natin nalaman na are siya? Kasi, again, look at the other parts of the sentence, doesn't like. Okay, hindi niya gusto na parati silang nanghihingi ng tulong. So, they are. We need that are for our main verb asking with ing. Right? We arrived at the party when they're playing some games. So, dito, they're playing some games. So, again, may ing siya. So, kailangan natin ng apostrophe RE. Pero, looking at the sentence, I know that apostrophe RE here means they were. Paano ko nalaman? Because of the verb before that, arrived. So, they were playing some games. Alright? And the last one, they're thinking of moving to a new house when I last saw them. When I last saw them, yung huli ko silang nakita. So, alam mo na, it's past, right? So, you know that, dito past din siya. They were thinking of moving. So, apostrophe RE is used here. Shortened form siya ng they were thinking of moving. Alright? So that's for there, or there with an apostrophe RE. Now, let's talk about the common errors. Kung paano ma-confuse tayong mga Pinoy with these three words in our sentences. The first one, there's a new restaurant in our area. There's. Hindi siya tama kasi hindi naman siya nagpapakita ng ownership. Diba? Ang gusto mong sabihin, meron. May nag-i-exist na bagong restaurant in your area. Therefore, yung dapat mong gamitin is THERE. So, there is a new restaurant in our area. Right? So, Sue doesn't want to go there. So again, hindi natin kailangan ng pronoun dito that shows ownership because you know that you're talking about not here, okay, but at that place. So again, kailangan natin ng THERE. So Sue doesn't want to go there, meaning at that place, right? The third one. Amy gave me some of her clothes, but they're too big for me. They're too big. Bakit there? You're not saying na nag-i-exist, okay, yung too big for you. What you actually need here is they are in our sentence, or sorry, they were, kasi nga gave yung ating verb before that. Amy gave me some of her clothes, but they were too big for me. Bakit they were? Kasi we're talking about the clothes that Amy gave, right? Right? Clothes which Amy gave. So, they, imbes na ulitin natin, the clothes were too big for me. So, instead of repeating clothes, we just use the pronoun they. Tapos, gumamit tayo ng apostrophe re to shorten. They were too big. Okay? And the last one, I don't recommend that cafe because their service isn't good. Their service. Their service, hindi naman natin sinasabi na ang service na nag-i-exist, okay? Or yung service na nandun. Pero actually, what you're trying to say here is yung service ng cafe, right? The service of the cafe. So therefore, you say, I don't recommend that cafe because their service with a THEIR isn't good. So again, just remember the three differences, right? So, THEIR, ownership siya, nagpapakita ng iyong pagmamayari. THERE, when you're saying that something exists, okay? Or not here, but there, or at that place. And there, with an apostrophe RE, could either be they are or they were, meaning shortened form lang siya ng dalawa. Alright? Now, another very common confusion among Filipinos is yung your and your with an apostrophe RE. So again, dito, nako-confuse tayo kasi hindi tayo sure which one will I use. Yung may apostrophe RE ba or yung wala? Let's try to understand, okay? So your na walang apostrophe is again the possessive form of the pronoun. This time, ng pronoun na you. Okay? So nagpapakita siya ng ownership, okay? Meaning sa'yo yan. So we say your, right? Like your house, your car, your book, sa'yo yun. Ownership or possessive form. Examples, my parents like your teaching style. Your teaching style. So walang apostrophe. Kasi ang ibig sabihin nito is yung teaching style mo, right? So what you own, what you have as your teaching style. Your family must be very proud of you. Your family. Ang pamilya mo, okay? So here, no need to use apostrophe kasi we want to show ownership, pagmamayari, pamilya mo. Everybody is waiting for your approval. So, your approval. So, again, in this sentence, okay, we use your without an apostrophe kasi nagpapakita na you own the approval, okay? Sa'yo manggagaling ang approval. So, your approval. On the other hand, you with an apostrophe and RE is again a shortened form of this time you are or you were. Right? So examples, you're so pretty. I don't like it when you're late. Mr. Smith thinks you're doing a great job. You're still a student when I first met you. Okay. So you're so pretty. So kailangan mo ng apostrophe dito kasi yung apostrophe RE is your verb in a sentence. So you are so pretty. I don't like it when you're late. when you are late. So, dapat may apostrophe siya. Kasi, again, magiging verb siya dito. Mr. Smith thinks you're doing a great job. Again, alam mo na kailangan mo ng apostrophe RE kasi yung verb after that is an ing. So, you need a be verb or a helping verb. So, you are doing a great job. You're still a student when I first met you. So, met is used here. Alam mo na this is the past. So, you say you were ang kanyang full or complete form. Pero yung shortened form niya is you're still a student. Right? So the common errors that we have with these expressions, so your eyes are so beautiful. Alam mo nang mali agad kasi meron naman siyang verb dito. Meron ng R. So hindi mo na kailangan ng apostrophe RE, your eyes. No need for that because we already have R here. Okay? So, yung tamang sagot dito is your eyes. Yung pagmamayari mo, you own those eyes. So, we say your eyes. It shows ownership. Right? The second one, I think you're making a big mistake. Alam mo nang mali. Sorry. Alam mo nang mali kasi makikita mo there is a verb after and it has an ing. Therefore, kailangan niya ng helping verb. So you say, you are making a big mistake, or ang shortened form, you plus apostrophe RE. You're making a big mistake. Right? The third one, don't forget to send me your complete details. So dito, alam mo nang mali kasi nanghihingi ka ng complete details niya. Okay, what she owns. So that means it shows ownership. Okay, or possession. So dapat we have to use your. Wala na siyang apostrophe. Okay, hindi siya apostrophe RE. And the last one, I appreciate your kindness and generosity. So, pag nagpapasalamat ka, okay, ang drama-drama ng post mo, tapos ito yung makikita. I appreciate your kindness. Mali siya, okay? So, dapat pala, your lang, wala ng apostrophe RE. Kasi, you're talking about yung kindness and generosity ng tao. Ng niya, right? What she owns or he owns. So, his kindness, his generosity. So, hindi mo kailangan ng apostrophe RE. Your lang to show ownership. Alright? Now, meron lang nag-leave ng comment last Monday also na sometimes din daw confusing ang our and our. So, let me touch briefly on this as well, okay? So, our, okay, again, just shows possessive form of the pronoun we. So, this time, we naman siya, okay? So, examples, our children look up to us. So, our children. Mali namang sabihin natin na our children. Okay, so our. Take note of the pronunciation as well. The first one, we pronounce it as our. Okay, so our children. While the second one, we pronounce it as our. Our. Okay, magkaiba sila, diba? Our, our. Yung our, kasi sa tanong niya, what's the difference or we commonly make mistake daw sa our, sa our, at saka sa hour na oras. Okay? Kasi yung oras in English, it's spelled as H-O-U-R, right? H-O-U-R. Oras in English is H-O-U-R. Yung spelling niya starts with an H, but the pronunciation is actually with a silent H. Hindi natin sinasabi na, I will give you 2 hours. Hindi tayo nagsasabi ng hours, okay? H is silent. So, we pronounce it actually as hours. Katulad nito. Okay? So, 1 hour. Ganon din ito. Hour. Pareho sila, magkatunog sila. Okay? So, yung ganyan naman, maybe it's confusing if it's spoken English, okay, or sa conversation ninyo kasi nga, they sound the same. Alright? Pero naman, if it's written, or pag nagpo-post kayo sa social media, or if you make your resume or cover letters, then of course, obvious naman kung ano yung mali kasi H naman yung hour na oras, and dito naman hour lang siya that shows the possessive form. Okay? So, going back to our example, our children look up to us. So here, our, ang aming mga anak, ang aming children. So, our shows possession. My parents take care of our pet dogs. Again, our pet dogs, okay? Because we want to show possession, yung mga aso namin. John joined our training last week. Our training, ang training namin last week. Right? So, our, again, it shows possession. When we use are, on the other hand, you have to remember verb siya in your sentence. It's the be verb. Okay? So that's why you ask your question as, are you busy right now? So are, hindi our. Our, you busy? No, we say, are you busy right now? They are coming in a while. They are. So, hindi natin sinasabing they our. Kasi we need are here since our verb comes with an ing. Right? And those are his books and pens. So, meron ng possessive pronoun dito na his. Hindi mo na kailangan ng those, our. Hindi mo na kailangan ng our. So, those are his books and pens. Alright? So that's it for those confusing words. I hope na at least, okay, kahit konti, meron kayong natutunan and at least na-clear na din yung mga doubts ninyo. Like, what should I use in my sentence? Should it be it? Or sorry, it's with an apostrophe or without an apostrophe? Should I use our or are in my sentence? Now at least you know. All right? Now, let's go to the next topic. Okay, I think this is also an interesting one since we are actually also confused with the so many kinds of prepositions that we have. Okay, so napakadami nila actually, and they are also very flexible. Iba-iba yung gamit nila in our sentences. That is why it's really hard to memorize and it's really hard to remember all their usage. Okay, so what I am going to discuss tonight, I think they're the basics of prepositions, and these are the most commonly used ones and also the most confusing na common na nga sila tapos nako-confuse pa tayo. Okay? So let me start with time. So, time muna tayo. And for tonight, I will be discussing 3, okay, prepositions. That's at, on, and in. Kasi silang tatlo ang actually ang, I think, okay, a lot of us find them confusing. Okay? So, let's begin with at first. Again, yung focus natin, time muna. Alright? We will talk about these prepositions with place later on. But for now, let's stick with time first. Okay? So, for at, remember, we use at with the time of day. Tulad ng oras talaga siya. So, at 5 o'clock, at 11 p.m., at 8 a.m. Okay, so time of the day. So at midnight and at night. Right? So take note, at midnight, at night lang siya. Okay? Or noon, you can also include it. Kasi si morning, afternoon, and evening, ibang prepositions sila. Later, you will also find them out. Okay? So example sentences. We have a meeting at 5 o'clock. So tandaan, pag oras, at siya. Hindi mo sinasabing, we have a meeting in 5 o'clock. No, we have to say, we have a meeting at 5 o'clock. I usually watch the news at night. So, at night. Di tayo nagsasabi na in night or on night. So, at. So, tandaan lang, oras, time of the day, at siya. Okay? Next, we also use at with other expressions of time tulad ng at the moment or now, 'di ba? At the moment ngayon 'yan. At present or kung familiar kayo sa British English, you can hear them say at the weekend or at weekends. Okay? So, I emphasized British here with at kasi later on you will know na sa weekend pala, yung American English, iba din yung ginagamit nilang preposition. Okay? So, I'm just telling you this so you do not get confused na, bakit ginamit niyo yung at sa weekend? O bakit yung isa naman on the weekend? Okay? So, it's possible actually kasi for British English, they use at together with weekend. Right? Let's take the examples. Jane is really busy at the moment. So, at the moment, meaning ngayon. They don't like going out at the weekend. At the weekend. So, British English, kanilang expression to. So, we use at plus the weekend. Right? So, tandaan, at with time of day, at with weekend kung British, or present or at the moment. Alright? Now, let's talk about on. Kailan naman natin gagamitin ang on with time? We use on together with the days of the week. So, ito na. Sa 7 days of the week, Monday hanggang Sunday, on. Tandaan natin, please, on ang ginagamit. Hindi natin sinasabing in Monday, in Tuesday. No. We say on Monday, on Sundays, on Tuesday morning. Okay? On Friday evening. Kung ano pa yan, basta may day of the week on ang ginagamit natin. So, examples, her parents visit her on Sundays. We need to meet on Tuesday morning. So, again, on lang yung ginagamit natin with the days of the week. Alright? Next, we also use on with special days. Example, yung birthday mo. Christmas Day, right? So we use on with those expressions. Like, examples, I love getting presents on Christmas Day. On with Christmas Day. What will you do on your birthday? So on plus birthday. On Valentine's Day. On New Year's Day. On Mother's Day. Ilista mo na lahat ng special days. Okay? So we use on with those expressions. Alright? So, tandaan, basta day. Day of the week, special day, on ang dapat gamitin. Hindi in. At hindi rin at. Okay? And, on is also used when we talk about complete date. I specifically mentioned here, month plus day. So, pag sinabi mo yung buwan tsaka yung araw, or kompleto talaga, pati yung year. Okay? So, buwan, araw, at taon. Okay. Example, on June 11th, on May 15, 1995. So, kompleto talaga siya. So, if it's a complete date, we use the preposition on. You will understand later why did I specify na complete date. Okay? Examples, the company was established on May 15, 1995. She's getting married on June 11. So here we use on kasi again, we're using complete dates. Right? And the last one here, we use on with weekend. Ito na, with American English. Okay? So kung consistently you are using American English, or your employer or your client is an American, then you would hear them say on the weekend. Pero kung British yung client mo or yung boss mo, then you would hear them say at the weekend. Okay? Example, do you go to the cinema on weekends? Her friends are invited to her house on the weekend. So, on weekends, on the weekend, basta American English. Alright? So, recap tayo. Si on, ginagamit natin with days of the week and also with special days, right? Birthday, Mother's Day, Christmas Day, etc. We also use on with a complete date. May month, tsaka may day, or month, day, and year. And lastly, for American English, we use on with weekend. Right. Now let's talk about in this time. So in is used together with months, yung mga buwan. Okay? So remember earlier, I mentioned date, complete date. May buwan tsaka may araw kasama ng taon. Kasi pag buwan lang siya, if it's only months, then we only use the preposition in. So you say in June, in December. So in lang siya. Okay? The employees are getting their raise in December. She likes going on vacation in June. So in lang sila kasi months lang. Walang day, walang year. So if only months, then we use in. Right? The next use of in is with morning, afternoon, and evening. So kung earlier we learned at together with night, midnight, or noon, sina morning, afternoon, at evening, yung tatlong yan, we use the preposition in. So you say, I take my dog for a walk in the evening. Do you get a lot of calls in the morning? So in ang ginagamit natin with these three expressions of time, morning, afternoon, and evening. Alright? Next, we also use in with years. Okay, so taon lang siya. Again, complete date, on. Dito, sa in, kung buwan lang siya, we use in. If it's only the year or yung taon lang, in din ang ginagamit natin. So we say in 1990, in 2020, or in 2020. Examples. He was born in 1990. So in, kasi taon lang siya. A lot of things have happened in 2020 or in 2020. So in lang din because we're talking about the year alone. Right? And the last one, we use in with seasons. So seasons, spring, summer, fall, or autumn, and winter. Okay, so examples, a lot of tourists visit this place in spring. Do you have to go to school in winter? Okay, so kasi we're talking about seasons here, then we use the preposition in. So if you can notice, if we try to recap yung preposition in, pag longer periods of time na, kasi nga buwan, taon, season, longer periods, that's your clue, then we use the preposition in. Okay? So again, for longer periods of time, months, years, and seasons, then we use the preposition in. And also, for the time expression, like morning, afternoon, and evening, then we use also the preposition in. Alright? So that's it for the prepositions of time with in, on, and at, or at, on, and in. This time, let's talk about in, on, and at with place. Right. So, kailan natin ginagamit sina in, on, and at? This time when we talk about places. So, I want you to imagine, okay, yung in, para mas madali nating maintindihan. Try to imagine it. In means you are enclosed in an area. Meaning, nasa loob ka. You're inside an area, napapalibutan ka, so that's in. Example, in a box, meaning sa loob ng box. In the house, sa loob ng bahay. In Japan, sa loob ka ng area ng countryng Japan. Okay? In Manila, nasa loob ka din ng area ng city ng Manila. Okay? So, let's take the example. Sentences here. We usually stay in the house these days kasi bawal lumabas. So, in the house, sa loob ng bahay. There are a lot of beautiful places to visit in Japan. So, sa area, okay, ng country na Japan. Better job opportunities are found in big cities. So, inside the area of cities. She loves spending time in the garden. Oh, kasi marami ng mga plantitos and plantitas. So, in the garden, inside the area of your garden, right? May area yung garden mo. So, you're in there. What do you have in your hand? O, pag naka-close fist ka, nasa loob, what's in your hand or what do you have in your hand sa loob ng hand mo? Okay, if you're hiding, or if your daughter perhaps or your son is playing and then she's keeping something or he's keeping something, and you say, what do you have in your hand? So sa loob ng kanyang kamay. Alright? So isipin mo na lang if you're talking about the country, yung city, basta nasa loob ka nun, then we say in. In Manila, in Cebu, in China, in Korea, in America. So, in ang ginagamit natin. Alright? Now, let's talk about on this time. So, on plus the place. Try to imagine kung ang in ay nasa loob, yung on naman is attached, nakadikit, or touching the surface of something. So, try to imagine it. Ano yung mga nakadikit? Ano yung nagtatouch lang sa surface? Hindi siya sa loob. Okay? So, imagine, look around your house, yung wall clock ninyo na nasa dingding, right? It's on the wall, right? Hindi siya nasa loob ng pader nyo, okay? Or ng wall ninyo. Nandun lang siya, attached, nakakabit, touching the surface of the wall. On the table, yung pagkain nyo is on the table. Hindi siya nasa loob ng mesa nyo. Nakapatong lang siya, touching the surface of your table. On your face. So if you have a pimple on your face, okay, a stain on your face, so again, hindi siya sa loob, okay, pero it's just touching the surface of your face. On the floor, kasi hindi naman nasa loob ng floor, again, nakapatong lang siya, or touching lang siya sa surface ng floor. Let's take example sentences para mas maintindihan natin. Do not put your bag on the table. So, wag ipatong sa mesa, right? So, on the table. Not touching the surface of the table. Marumi ang bag mo. I have his paintings on the walls of my bedroom. So, on the walls. Yung paintings, like yung wall clocks, yung posters, okay, pictures, whatever it is that you have na nakadikit sa wall. So, we say on the wall. You have some icing on your face. Hindi siya sa loob, right? It's only on the outer surface of your face. So, touching or attached to your face. She lives on the 30th floor of that building. So, on the 30th floor. So, again, hindi sa loob, hindi sa in the floor, okay? On the 30th floor of the building. The sign on the door says they're out for lunch. Merong sign sa door na nakakabit or attached to it, saying that they are closed because they're having lunch. So, on the door. Right? So, recap. Yung in, nasa loob talaga. Yung on, just attached or touching the surface. Talagang nakadikit siya or nakatouch siya sa surface. Okay? While at this time, when we talk about at, we are only talking about a specific point. So, imagine again yung situation na wala ka sa loob, okay? Hindi ka rin nakadikit, pero nandun ka sa specific point. For example nito, at the station, okay? Hindi ka naman sa loob ng station, okay? Hindi ka rin nakadikit sa station, but you are perhaps, okay, at the outer part of the station, may point lang, specific point. Baka may pangalan doon, bus station. So, nandun ka at the station. At the door. Hindi rin natin pwedeng sabihin in the door, hindi ka naman pumasok sa door, okay? Na yung door mismo, okay? Pumasok ka sa room. Pero yung door, the structure door, hindi ka doon sa kahoy na pumasok, okay? Hindi din natin sinasabing on the door ka kasi hindi naman nakadikit yung mukha mo sa door. So we say at the door. So at the airport, at the bus stop. Nasa specific point ka lang. Let's take the example sentences para mas klaro sa atin. My parents will pick me up at the station. So, at the station, here, sa specific point lang ng station, not inside the station. Okay? So, perhaps dun lang sa my arrival area. So, at the station. They usually meet at the bus stop after work. So, bus stop lang siya. Meron lang siyang pangalan na bus stop. So, dun lang sila nagmi-meet at that specific point. There are a lot of people at the airport these days. Okay, maraming gustong umuwi. So, at the airport. So, we are not really talking about, okay, sa loob mismo ng airport, but we're talking about a specific point of the airport. That's why we say at the airport. Right? And earlier, I gave an example. There is a sign on the door. Yung on the door, may nakadikit, diba? Nakadikit na sign. But if you say, I think someone is at the door lang siya. Kasi hindi naman siya nakadikit. Yung tao, diba? If you're knocking, right? It doesn't mean na dinidikit mo rin yung mukha mo. You're sticking your face on the door. Hindi naman. You are standing at a specific point. Okay? So we say at the door lang. So let's compare. Okay, I think this is the last part of the discussion. Let's compare. Kasi it's possible talaga, like I said, prepositions, they're so flexible. We can use them with different words. Okay? Mag-iiba lang yung meaning because of the preposition used. Let's take the examples. In the bottle versus on the bottle. So if I say there's an insect in the bottle, so alam mo na in ang ginamit ko, meaning sa loob ng bote, inside the bottle. Alright? But if you say, I can't read the label on the bottle, okay? On the bottle, yung label lang niya. So, on the bottle, meaning nakadikit lang yung label sa bottle. Hindi siya sa loob ng bote, nandun lang siya nakadikit sa labas ng bote at touching the surface of the bottle. Okay? It's also the same with on the door and at the door. So again, the same noun lang siya, door, pero magkaiba yung prepositions. Again, yes, it's possible, pero different na yung meaning nila. She read the note I posted on the door. On the door, so idinikit ko lang siya sa door. Yung note, nakadikit or attached to the door. Pero when I say, I was surprised to see her standing at the door, siya, hindi naman siya nakadikit sa door, okay? She was just there, standing at a specific point. Alright? So I guess this really what makes prepositions really challenging to study. It's because we can use them with the same words or various words, okay? But they just really change the meaning of the sentence, or it changes the idea. It's because the prepositions have their own meaning and usage. So, magkapareho man yung noun na ginagamit with them, but then, dahil sa preposition na gamit natin, then, yun na nga, mag-iiba yung meaning ng ating sentence. Alright? That is why it's really important for us to know those different meanings and functions of prepositions. So, marami pa actually in our, again, in the ESL training course that we have here in FHMoms, prepositions are discussed, okay? Really, should I say thoroughly. There are a lot of expressions that we use or that we discuss, like anong adjectives do we use with these prepositions? What verbs do we use with these prepositions, and how come that the meaning of the verb changes with this preposition. So again, you will be able to learn those things if you enroll in the ESL and the online teaching course here in FH Moms. So I think we still have a few minutes left to answer some questions if there are any. So, alright. Kung may questions kayo, again, leave your questions. Okay, is that the same as identical rhyme? Ano ba? Is that the same as identical rhyme? Same sound of words. Yeah, we can say, all right, we may say that they sound the same, they may rhyme, all right, pero hindi naman talaga, right, kasi merong like yung our at saka are not really the same. They're not pronounced the same way, pero others like we mentioned earlier yung it's na wala siyang apostrophe it's, and then it's na apostrophe s, yeah, they may sound the same. So again, if it's spoken English, then no problem with that. That would be fine. Pero once you put it into written form, okay, may it be professionally when you do it for work, or kahit na nga sa mga social media posts lang natin, then meron talagang matitrigger na mga grammar Nazis kasi makikita nila na mali pala yung ginamit ninyo. It should be with an apostrophe. Yung ginamit mo ay wala siyang apostrophe. Alright? Anything else? And for the next, what do you call this one, session that we have on Friday, leave us a comment below para naman we can include that in our discussion next week. That would be the last part for our free grammar webinar series. Kasi after this Friday, next week, you should watch out for Mommy Jackie, as she will be discussing more about pronunciation. Kasi she's in our trainer for customer service, right? So more of pronunciation and yung mga liaisons and accents, she will be discussing those things. All right? So, what else? Yung ibang question. Difference between identical rhyme and yung homonym kasi, if we say homonym for the benefit of others, okay? Yung rhyme magkatunog sila, 'di ba? Homonyms, they have the same spelling or pronunciation pero different naman yung meaning nila. Okay? So, si rhyme, magkatunog din sila. Si homonym naman, it could be that pati yung spelling nila pareho or yung pronunciation nila pareho. But then, yung meaning nila or yung origin kung saan sila nagmula are different. Okay? So, I hope dismiss. Oh, okay. So, for the pronunciation, yeah, actually, si Mami Jackie yung magde-discuss niyan. Okay? So, actually, ito lang yung akin. Okay? So, you just have to remember, there are actually words ending in S na we pronounce them with an S. Others, we pronounce them with a Z. Okay? It doesn't mean na British English siya. Kasi American English also, we have that. So, I guess, Mommy Jackie will be explaining the rules on those pronunciation like differences, kung bakit yung S, we pronounce it with an S sound, with the S sound, or Z sound. Why is it that ED or D sometimes is pronounced with a T sound, right? Like cooked, bakit T yun? And then bakit sa iba naman id yung pronunciation, like wanted, okay? I think she'll be discussing those things as well. Alright? So, paano po ba kapag college undergrad? Qualified po ba sa online teaching? Sa 5-1 talk per requirement nila degree holder. Okay. Actually, there are really companies that require their applicants to be bachelor's degree holders, but then there are also companies that do not really look into your educational background. Even if your major is not English or education, they don't really care. If you're a high school graduate, that would be fine with them. What's really important is your English skills. So they're more focused on how you speak, okay, how you are able to deliver the classes. So, like what I always explain to my students or sorry, to my trainees, okay, in our training, that um, it really is not about your degree. Kasi nga ako I'm not an English major. Nor I'm an education major. I'm actually a registered nurse by profession, but I never got to practice being a registered nurse kasi I stayed in the ESL industry for 17 years already. So, it's not about the degree, but your training could make up to your lack of experience or to your lack of educational background. So, okay lang na wala kang degree sa English or education kung alam mo namang confident ka at saka komportable ka on how you speak in English and how you deliver the lessons. And especially if you have an intensive background or sorry, an intensive training that goes with that confidence, then malaking bagay na yan that you can get hired. So do not be disheartened if some companies would require bachelor's degree. Okay, then don't just apply to those companies. There are still really a lot of ESL companies that are hiring even undergraduates as long as you are of legal age, okay, 18 years old and above, then you are still, I should say, a good candidate. All right? Anything else before we call it a night? Meron pa bang tanong? Don't forget, just leave your comments for whatever topic that you want us to discuss this coming Friday. So I can include it to whatever it is that I want to share with you guys. So again, yung sa webinar natin ngayon, parang ano lang to sobrang shallow lang to ng what you should expect if you go into or if you join our ESL and online teaching training here in FHMoms. Kasi sobrang intensive tsaka very thoroughly explained. Sobrang lengthy ng mga discussions about grammar rules. And masasabi mo talagang napakaraming aha moments pag nakikinig ka sa videos, yun pala yun. I didn't know that. There would be tons and tons of realizations when it comes to grammar rules and the things that you thought you already know in English but surprisingly, hindi mo pa pala alam yon. Alright? So, wala na? No more questions for tonight? Alright, so let's call it a night then. I hope to see you guys this coming Friday for the last part of our grammar webinar series. Okay? Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening, everyone. Bye.
Every mom has her own struggles. For most stay-at-home moms, aside from the random feeling of insecurity about not bringing home a paycheck, they struggle with never-ending household chores and errands. Working moms, on the other hand, also have an occasional feeling of being not good enough, because even though they can help with the financial needs of the family, their work sometimes hinders them from spending time with their loved ones in return. We are moms like you. We understand all these, but the question is, why choose when you can have both? Be a work-at-home mom and enjoy bonding with your family without compromising your household finances. FHMoms is here to help you jumpstart your work-at-home career. With its fast-growing community of Filipino moms who are either aspiring or already working from home, partnered with its goal to help determined Filipino moms land a home-based job, you'll surely get the help that you need through its tools, guides, and advice readily available for you. Are you ready to work from home like us? We're here to assist you every step of the way. Check the Filipino Home-Based Moms page or join the group for more details. FH Moms. Moving forward, giving back.